Yo, I hope you guys are doing fantastic today. In this video, I wanted to talk to you guys about some potions that may be making their way into the live servers on New World. So right now on the PTR, there are these potions called Reflexive Potions. If you go to an arcane repository and you type in Reflexive, you will see that there are several different types of potions and a couple different types of tinctures. What these are automatic potions. They self-activate to restore 2400 health and plus 7% of your max health, pretty much like an infused potion, but they self-activate whenever you have them slotted into a hotbar. Your mana potion, same way, only it self-activates to restore 100 mana, and then your regeneration potion, same way, only it self-activates to work just like a regeneration potion would. Same thing with blight tincture and corruption tinctures. These automatically remove the corruption affliction or the blight affliction whenever you have them slotted on your bar and you're afflicted with one of those afflictions. So these things are kind of nutty, and I'll tell you why here in just a moment. But first, let's take a look at how you craft these things. In order to craft one of these things, you have to have an infused version of any of these potions, and you have to have an ampule. I'm not sure if that's how you pronounce that, but that's the pronunciation we're going to go with. You also have to have 10 Azoth. It's the same thing with all of these potions. Every one of them work the same way whenever you craft them. But the big thing you have to craft here is this ampule. So how do you craft that? Well, in order to craft that, you need to go over to a forge. And whenever you're at the forge, you can go to the glassware section towards the very bottom. And you'll see here the ampule is right here. You have to have 150 weaponsmithing and a tier 5 forge in order to craft one of these things, but you also have to have 5 sulfur and 10 charged sand. This is no easy feat. It's quite expensive to get charged sand and sulfur at the moment, so these potions are not going to be easy to obtain, nor are they going to be cheap to obtain. So that's what you have to craft them, and then once you have that, you can obviously make your way back over to one of these arcane repositories, and then you can craft them. A couple of things to note here before we jump into how these actually work is that there are some trade-offs to the self-activation, and we'll show you exactly how the self-activation works here in just a moment and how it triggers. But there are a couple of trade-offs and a couple of big ones that I wanted to point out, or at least one really big one now. Then we'll talk about it a little bit more here in just a minute. But the reflexive health potion, all of these potions have a 10-second longer cooldown. The exception are the tinctures, right? These don't have a cooldown. They just have a 5-minute duration, just like they normally would. But all of your actual potions have a 10-second longer cooldown. So you can see here these have a 40-second cooldown, and if we search infused health potion, you can see that these have a 30-second cooldown. So they do have a 10-second longer cooldown, and that's kind of the trade-off between using the automatic version versus using a manual version of the potion, which is a pretty big deal. 10 seconds, especially in PvP, can be a life-saving or mean your death. So that is kind of the biggest trade-off whenever you use these things, in my opinion. But let's take a look at exactly how these things work whenever you're in combat. So I did spend quite a lot of time on the PTR gathering the materials to craft one of these potions. So you have a reflective potion, or reflexive potion rather, in the number 4 slot there. As you can see, it has to be slotted on your hotbar in order to use this thing. It cannot just go into your inventory. And another thing to note is if you press the hotkey of that hotbar or of that item, it will use it just like a normal potion. So make sure if you have it slotted on your bar, you don't press the key, or else you'll just use it. So as we fight this mob here, we're going to watch the health tick down. You can see I have 8,706 health, and right there is whenever it used, and whenever it used, it is because it goes below 50% health. So once you get to below 50% health, that thing uses, and it also activates the cooldown of the other potion on the bar there, as you can see. So that's how these things work. Another very important thing to point out is that there was not any animations. Again, as the mob is hitting us here, let's take a closer look. There it is, and there was the heal. There was no animation, there was no potion chug, nothing. It just immediately used the animation. So as you're doing any other action in the game, you can and it will activate that potion. So that's why these potions are so incredibly strong, is because it just activates upon automatically upon doing anything in the game. There is no stop, there is no hard stop, there's no nothing. You just use the potion whenever you get below 50% health, and I'm pretty sure that activates in any scenario. I have not tested it with hard CC, I haven't tested it with any of those actions, but I would assume, and the assumption is, and maybe it's a bad assumption, I'm not sure, but I would imagine that it works with those as well, because it just it automatically happens whenever you get below a certain threshold. So I would think that it's going to happen no matter what. That's what makes these potions incredibly strong. And to me, I think that's terrible. I hope that these things do not come into the game. It takes a lot of skill away from the game, in my opinion. For a normal player, these things are very expensive to craft. I don't know how much they'll affect anything outside of maybe the war scene, because they are super expensive. You could use them in arenas, etc., because you only have to get one, right? And then they're infinite. So in that situation, might not be a big deal either, because everybody could use them. But I'm just not a fan. I'm not a fan of the automatic use potions. I'm not a fan of the dumbed down combat scenarios. I hope that these don't make it to live. I'm not sure if they will or not. We'll see. We'll have to wait and see. But that's my take, man. I'm not really a fan of these. I hope they don't make it to live, and if they do, I hope they're like significantly reworked in some form or fashion. But we'll see how it goes. They're on the PTR. Not going to jump to any conclusions just yet. They are on the PTR. I just wanted to show you guys this to make sure that you guys were aware, just in case these did come into the game. So let me know your thoughts. I'd love to know. What do you guys think about these things? Do you like this type of stuff in the game? I think the tinctures would probably be fine, honestly. The corruption tinctures, the blight tinctures, I think those are okay. You know, those are kind of more convenience. I don't think those are going to affect PvP in any way. And those are okay. I even would prefer those not to come into the game. Even those, I think just slot it and use the button and have a little bit of action-based combat. I just don't like I just don't like the dumbed down version, really, is not for me. So hopefully these don't come in. That's my opinion. What do you guys think? Maybe some of you guys like these things, you want them to come in, or maybe you have a different perspective on how these are going to be used or utilized in the game, and maybe you think they're going to be great for the game. I would love to know that, and let me know in the comments below. Also, if you want to talk about it live, come check us out at twitch.tv/BDLG. We're there every Monday through Friday about 8 o'clock a.m. CST and streaming on into the afternoon. And we will try to get on a better cadence for videos moving forward. Here recently, we've been very neck deep into the RTA event, the Return to Eternity event. If you guys don't know what that is, you can come check it out on Twitch. Again, we're streaming almost every day right now throughout the event, so you can come check it out over there. And once that thing's done, we should get on a better cadence of videos. But yeah, that's it. That's all we have for you today. Yo, if you enjoyed this video, please make sure to like and subscribe. I greatly appreciate it. And yeah, we'll see you in the next one. Thank you, guys.